What's up, guys? It's me, Crimson 60620, and you see me actually finishing this drawing. Now, I'm gonna give a little bit of spoiler alert. You probably saw it out the description. Her skin tone turned out a lot lighter than what I expected it to, but you guys will see. You'll actually understand what I mean in a minute. Here you have me working more and more on trying to build that darker skin tone. I was a little bit cautious because I was worried it would be too dark, because I wanted her to have more of a caramel complexion, kind of like me when I'm out in the sun. But you see me taking the brown and actually trying to get the shadow that's naturally under the breast, and me trying to blend that out. Again, I am heavily saturating this paper, and yeah, that's one of the things with the blending style that I use. I go through a lot of markers. You see me actually just trying to get that shade a little bit more. One of the things that I'm a little bit concerned with, and something I'm going to probably try to work on my next drawing, is just making sure I get the colors right and have a little bit more of a plan for the colors that I use and the fine liners that I use. But in for a penny, in for a pounding. Yeah, anyway, so we are still kind of like trying to, as you can see, I pretty much got her skin tone down. Still trying to think and deliberate about what steps I want to do next at this point. Now I'm actually trying to get more of that black line. Again, get the undershade of the breast. And this, I didn't realize I kind of pushed it out of the camera's scene out there, but you can still see that right now I'm just trying to blend kind of where the natural cup line would actually be. Sorry about this, guys. I was just trying to make sure that I get a focus, but things happen. At least you guys can see a little bit more of what I'm doing now. If you actually take a look, I was just trying to fill out in the change specifically where those chains would actually be, and not forget that there's an inside. And of course I'm using the marker tones to kind of make sure I get a little bit of shadow on the bottom. Again, for me it's all about the shadows and shading to try to give that, at least make it not look so flat. And so again, she's not a D cup. She has sizable breasts, and so I don't want to make it too accentuated. Next, I want to have like a piping, because one of the things with the markers, it's hard to do a pattern. It's hard to do a pattern on lace bras, and one of the drawings that I've done recently, it was kind of hard to me to do a pattern. So maybe I need to work on that, but I still want to actually give, I want to give her breast some dimensions. And so that's why you see me doing a little bit of the light right there, and again laying down a base coat, and I'm going to actually just use a lighter marker to blend it in. A little bit more of a different shade between the darker one and the lighter one, so it can be like a contrast. Now if I ever do a full body picture of her, I kind of got an idea of what I want to actually be. Here you see me naturally working with the neck and where the choker will actually be. The lines that you will actually see would be the shadows caused by the pronouncement of, even though a woman doesn't have a much pronounced jugular like a man, she still has one. So you want to see the shadows, and right now I'm just trying to be careful around where that chain is on the neck, so it doesn't clash with the other colors. So you'll see me taking a darker color and then taking a lighter color again, just blending it out. Give it an appearance of a shadow. Alright, so just still working on that neck chain, and at this point I realized something. I can't make the hair black like I wanted to. I really wanted to make the hair black or really dark color, but it wouldn't sit well on the shoulders, and it wouldn't be as pronounced on the shoulders. And at this point I gave up on trying to make the chain silver, so I made it a golden chain. So you actually see me trying to put some base work down to try to get a lighter color. Then I had to switch to a darker color because I wanted the actual gold to pop out. So you see me actually blending the rest of the chain, and this took a little bit less time than what I thought it would, but I was still trying to blend that color in. You see me using the two different marker sets that I have. Again, this uses a lot of marker, and this is where you actually start to see the chain pop against her body. And you know, I'm trying to find out at what point did it visually looks like her skin tone change. If you take a look at this thumbnail and the first thumbnail from submission part 2, or even at the beginning of this video and towards the end, it just looks like the tone of her skin changed. And I would chalk it up to the drying of the marker, but no, it just did not. I didn't do anything. At the beginning of this marker, this draw, it actually looked darker. But as you can actually see, and maybe this is some color theory that I need to be working on, or maybe some other stuff that I need to just put more time into looking at. But you will see that it looks as if her skin actually starts lightening with the lightning colors that I put on and the background. So if you can actually see, I'm trying to do a dark hair, and I'm going to do a real big transition. So you can blend almost any color, and what you see me right here is putting on like a dark brown. I had to give up on the black, so I'm putting a dark brown. So you see me adding the brown, which are really the low lights to the highlights, but it's almost as if I'm trying to highlight the yellow, or you know what I mean. Using yellow as a highlight, but no, that's actually as the base. Fuck it, I'm trying to do this in one take, so I'm stumbling. But as you can actually see, it looks as if I'm starting to actually break that color down, that brown, to be pushed out through the rest of the hair. And it's actually pretty cool because you have to keep those markers wet. You have to keep that pigment wet on the paper, and it is a lot of saturation. It is a lot of saturation. And usually when you do blending like this, if you're not careful, you have to have another sheet beneath, because you will saturate that page with color. I literally have the final picture right now, and except for the fine details, especially around the hair, it's almost hard to tell the front from the back. And the fun thing about it is, at this point, I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh shit, I can't get it, I can't push it out, I can't break that color. But now it's starting to break, and you're starting to see the highlights of that hair actually being broke. That's why I moved on to the second part. This takes a lot of time, guys. This right here takes some time to actually do, because you're just trying to break that strong dark color. And one of the things that I also did that I noticed at this point was that I did kind of, where I had the hair, I did kind of bleed, the red start to bleed in a little bit. So I use the brown to, correct that tip, to make sure that the picture is a little bit more consistent. And you see the parts when it's on her face. And I don't know where it was, but it was almost right here, where, especially with the color of the hair, made her look a lot lighter than what she originally started with. And again, maybe that's just, working on my color theory and just trying to make sure that I look into maybe doing some changes. That's what my art is always about for me, learning and growing. And so you see me actually just working that color in. I think at this point I had switched to the chisel tip, to try to blend that hair. Get that hair blended and get that part just looking where it doesn't look like it's just two different colors. It looks as if it's the flow of hair. So that's why you see me working that pigment around in that color. Now you see me move on to the hands, and it's always meant to be mysterious that she doesn't see the hands that's tying her. It's that the person that's tying her is veiled in darkness. So if you actually look at how the hands do look, they aren't the best description of how a hand would be and a forearm would be, but I knew I was going to actually change that around a little bit. So I'm adding very little shadows to the hands. The hands aren't the focal point, so I'm adding very little shadows to it. It still can be determined, but what I'm going to add is her. She is the picture. That's why you have the bright red over her eyes, the golden chain, and the way I have her hair color. You actually see me, I'm still trying to do a little blending on the hands, but that's not my focal point. Now here is one of the things that I'm just trying to think, like, hey, what do I do? I know I have this picture. I want it to really pop. I want the young lady in it to really pop. What steps do I do next as far as background? And I think this was like a time I got up and took a little bit of a break, because at this point I had been working on this for a while. All right, so this is probably the hardest one, and I'm gonna say this. I chose this color because it's dark enough. It's warm gray, number 9, and this is very important. You can't just have a thin layer when it comes to this. You have to be very, very thorough. Like I said, when I look at the original piece of art, it's completely bled through. The paper actually has a lot of pigment and color in it. Now you see me kind of doing the fine lines around the hands and the scarf. I want to give it a deep color. And then of course when you see this, this much coloring around the background and everything makes it way different. It does take a toll on your wrist if you're not careful. So yeah, I'm doing a lot of deep coloring. I'm doing a lot of pushing that pigment into the paper. And you see me going back over the parts that I've already colored, because it's very important that you don't have that black showing. Also adding little details where the little gap between the scarf and where the fingers are. And if you guys didn't know, I'm doing this at 4 times speed. So yeah, this in grand total for its coloring, it took me, the 2 videos I have for about 20 minutes. So this took me about 80 minutes around this time, and the last one took me about another 80 minutes. So this is a home stretch of coloring. As you can see, I'm being very careful. Now, one of the things that this dark background has allowed for me to do is cover up any edging mistakes that I may have. So yeah, this is something that you see that I'm actually doing, and just covering up some things. Getting that deep color, and just trying to figure out how things would actually look in my imagination. I use some reference material, but I don't use much, and when you get this close to the end, you're really trying to be like, I see the finish line, and you're not trying to be half, just sloppy about it. But as you can actually see, what I'm also trying to do is trying to get more of a realistic way those arms would actually disappear in darkness. Of course, I know you don't have arms that disappear in darkness, but you know what I mean. Almost finished with this. We're almost in the home stretch. So you see me going back over the color, just push, like, I cannot stress that enough, that I have to actually push that color in there and make sure that it saturates. Now, yes, I'm burning through a lot of marker. I chose this one, this dark, because 1, it covers up the background, but 2, I have a couple of these particular colors. Now, maybe in a future time, I may actually do a lighter color, then go back over with the darker color. That's something that I have thought about in the past as well. So we're actually coming to the end of the picture. Again, I want to saturate that color, saturate that darkness. And you see me, going all the way to the ends of the page, because I want that color saturated. I want to set a mood. And if you actually could, and this is what I mean, like, she looks lighter now than anything, and I'm like, wait, what happened? I did not change it. And obviously it's because of the darkness in the background. So here you have me working on her lips, and yeah, I've went ahead and I was trying different colors, but I want her lips to actually stand out. And of course, I take the fine liner and change a little bit of color around the middle and around the side. So here we go, the finished picture. I want to thank everybody for watching. Please like and subscribe to this video. Peace.